Final Fantasy is returning to glorious turn-based combat later this year with Final Fantasy Resonance. So what even is this game? Why could this mark a beautiful new era for Square Enix as a studio, and why am I looking forward to it so much? Today we're going to answer those very questions. Hello everybody, it's your boy Jmulls, and buckle up because we have a new trailer. In order to understand what Final Fantasy Resonance even is, let's begin with the announcement trailer. And I gotta say, I love the HD 2D art style that Square Enix has been putting out lately. The Adventures of Elliot is easily my front runner for Game of the Year. This style of cutscene, man, it looks so dang good. That visual right there. One of the things I've been really appreciating from what I've seen of Final Fantasy Resonance is the sense of spectacle the game is able to just instill with a lot of these scenes. Like that Bahamut. Ooh, that looks so good, man. It looks so good. I think the HD 2D art style also really benefits from its use of color. It's just very pleasing to look at. Would it be a Final Fantasy game without crystals? Oh, the world looks so cool, dude. I love the little PNGs they have for the characters as well. Now, I did play a little bit of Brave Exvius a while ago. I never got around to finishing it, but I played a good amount of it. And I really enjoyed the story for what it was. I just didn't enjoy Square Enix's gacha gameplay. Yeah, for those who don't know, Final Fantasy Resonance is taking the story of the gacha game Brave Exvius and just making a regular RPG with it, and using that as a vehicle to bring back Final Fantasy as a turn-based game. What a great concept, in my opinion. Summon new strength from outside and within. Man, the summons look cool, dude. They look really dang good. Odin there. Oh my god, I love the flame sword. That little animation. I believe the protagonist called Rain. I love his design. He does kind of just look like a Final Fantasy protagonist, don't get me wrong there. But he looks like a really cool version of that, you know? Resonate across worlds. Now, I haven't looked too deeply into this system right here, but it's rather interesting, and also does kind of feel like a remnant of Final Fantasy Brave Exvius' gacha days, where you're able to recruit characters from other Final Fantasy games and put them in your party. Was that Shintoto? I do wonder just how important they're going to be for the story, or if they're just going to be like extra little characters you can recruit. But for a game like this, heck yeah, why not? It sounds and looks really dang cool. And then you have a scene like this right near the beginning of the trailer. This to me goes to show the variety and just how much potential there is in the HD 2D art style. I haven't played every HD 2D game, but the ones that I've seen and played, that looks very unique and different to me. I love the use of the camera. I love the perspective it's giving off. And I love the sense of scale that they're giving the world of Final Fantasy Resonance here. In a lot of ways, it does feel like Final Fantasy Resonance is Square Enix going back to their roots for Final Fantasy overall. I'm not the biggest hater or anything about modern Final Fantasy. In fact, I quite enjoy them, but I still think this is really cool to see. And I am very fresh because I just got done with beating the true ending for the Adventures of Elliot. That game very well may be my game of the year. I need to play this first, but I think playing Adventures of Elliot and then looking at this trailer for Final Fantasy Resonance side by side, to me, it reaffirms a position I've kind of held for a while now, that Square Enix struck gold with HD 2D. They have a good sense of visual identity that this is a modern Square Enix game, but they both still have like their own nuances and their own unique visual identity, and it can be really hard to strike a good balance between those two ideas, but I think Square Enix is really nailing it. But now let's move on to the trailer that just came out. I haven't even started watching the trailer yet, but my god, another element to Final Fantasy Resonance I'm a big fan of, just going off of what I've seen so far. I love the visual diversity going on, these different set pieces and locations. When it comes to a Final Fantasy game world, I do think nailing that element is particularly important. It looks so dang good. Now, I'm pretty sure this trailer is only in Japanese. YouTube has this like new feature where you can like auto dub it to English, but I don't know how accurate that would be, so let's keep it in the Japanese here. Ooh, I love the locations, the lighting, man. The lighting in HD and 2D just has this particular style to it that I absolutely love. I love this walking perspective, where the camera's panning down and the character's walking forward. They had that in the last trailer as well, and I absolutely love it. They're doing a really good job with the action scenes with these like 2D sprites as well. I know some people are kind of put off with HD 2D because of the pixel sprites compared to the backgrounds. I personally don't mind that. I can understand the issue though. It adds a unique flair to the game in my opinion. I quite enjoy it personally. I love, love, love the character designs in this game. My god, their use of color. I will never get over it. It's beautiful to me every time they show me a new scene. I love exploring the world there. It looks so dang clean. That city right there, again, going back to what I was talking about before, with the visual diversity going on with exploring this world. I love the sense of scale and spectacle. This looks so dang good. Ooh, I like the music as well. I haven't listened to too much music from Brave Exvius or from the Resonance trailers myself. Ooh, Leviathan? God, I love the little poses they have for the boss fights because I interacted with this a little bit from the bit of Octopath Traveler that I've played. I love the poses they give the bosses and just how giant they look. It has a good, like, presence to it in my opinion, but also a little bit goofy. But not in like an overly cringe way in my opinion, but in a way that makes it feel like a unique part of the art style. That guy looks awesome. Hello? Ooh, I love this song, by the way. Hello, Odin. Ooh. It looks so clean. It just looks so dang good, man. Yeah, let's fight a giant T-Rex skeleton up in space or whatever. Why not? Sure. God, their use of color. It's so pretty, man. It's so dang pretty. I have to wait for October for this. This is pretty much the end of the trailer, I believe. The box art they have here for Final Fantasy Resonance kind of reminds me of the box art for Final Fantasy VI in a really cool way. Yeah, not gonna lie, I just rewatched the trailer with this like weird auto dubbing they have on YouTube. Kind of glad I watched it in Japanese because it kind of butchers the music going on here.
And the summoned beasts.
You hear what I mean? But besides that, I think this trailer was really dang cool. And it also highlights a few different elements that I think make me really excited because when you add all these different elements together, it's creating an experience that I really want to partake in and play. Let me get into what those elements are right now. Now let's head on over to Square Enix's website to learn more about Final Fantasy Resonance, including what the story is actually about, because I'll be honest, it's been a while since I played Brave Exvius. I know it's about crystals, but that really does not narrow it down when it comes to Final Fantasy. The Kingdom of Night's Granshelt. Its people lived peaceful lives blessed by the power of crystals. Okay, sounds Final Fantasy. Rain. Yeah, he sounds like a PS1 era Final Fantasy protag. Commander of the Airship Squadron receives a royal decree. Investigate the Earth Shrine, where the magical barrier protecting it has waned, and determine the cause together with Laswell, his childhood friend and deputy commander. Upon reaching the innermost chamber of the shrine, the two encounter a mysterious man clad in black armor, totally not Golbez. Overwhelmed by his immense power, must be a Redditor, Rain and Laswell are defeated and the Earth Crystal is shattered before their eyes. Though Rain and Laswell narrowly survive, their airship is wrecked and their comrades have fallen. You can't be losing your airship in a Final Fantasy game, man. When Rain and Laswell return, they find Granshelt under attack by the armored man, Veritas of the Dark. Nice and edgy, I like it. They manage to rescue the king, but once again suffer a crushing defeat. To protect the remaining crystals scattered across the world, Rain and Laswell set out on a journey in pursuit of Veritas of the Dark, joined by Finna, that can't be how you pronounce her name, the mysterious girl they met in Granshelt. Imagine they pulled a Bakugan and Finna actually turns out to be Veritas of the Dark. I never got that far into Bravely Exvius to actually find out if that's the case, but who knows, maybe they're big Bakugan fans. At this moment, none of them could have imagined the turbulent fate that awaited them, and so the quest began. Did I just call it Bravely Exvius? I have Bravely default in the mind. But yeah, from the limited amount I played of the Brave Exvius story, I enjoyed it. It was cool being able to summon a party of various Final Fantasy characters and to progress this story. I just wish I enjoyed the gameplay more, but that's why we got this, I guess. Features: travel with companions bound by fate and call on visions. Now, that was the gacha system in the original, so I'm not sure how they're gonna handle this in this game. They aid you in battle to uncover the truth behind a force that threatens to bring everything to ruin. Yep, the HD 2D style, I love it. I love how it looks in this game. A return to the familiar. This is a point they're advertising. A classic RPG adventure unfolds in a world filled with beloved Final Fantasy elements, airships, crystals, espers, and Moogles, woven into the fabric of the story, and so much more. Obviously, this game reeks of being an old school style Final Fantasy game, but it's very interesting to me that this is one of the primary features. Again, this is under the features tab that they're advertising for this game. I've seen some sentiment on Twitter that they're probably too far along when it comes to Final Fantasy 17 to truly take any possible feedback they accrue from this game into account. I'm not sure I buy that personally, because this does kind of feel in a way to me like them testing the waters by slapping the Final Fantasy label on an old school style Final Fantasy game and just seeing how it does. They already pretty much have the story from Brave Exvius. It seems like an easy W in my opinion. Final Fantasy Legends: bolster your team with visions, echoes of beloved Final Fantasy characters who fight alongside you with unique skills and abilities for deep party customization. I know we saw Cloud and like Lightning from Final Fantasy 13 in the trailer. Hours of side content to discover. Oh, they even have like the camera angle for the airship. That's sick. The world is full of secrets, including the wandering swordmaster Gilgamesh. Oh, my bro's back. Let's go. A coliseum with deadly monsters and rewards to match. The Chamber of Arms with formidable foes sealed within legendary weapons, and a showdown with Ultima Weapon. Sounds really good to me. I'm gonna say it. I understand that this guy's design might be a little bit stereotypical for some people. Even back when I was playing Brave Exvius, I love this dude's design. It's something about the color, and also the sword just looking really cool. I'm a big fan of Rain. But we had red, we have to have blue here, and this is Laswell, his childhood friend we talked about in the blurb there. I remember really liking their dynamic back in Brave Exvius, so I'm really excited to see how this is handled in Resonance. I mean, look, the character design just looks really dang good, and I love the art style they have for the PNGs here. I really fell in love with the art style for the PNGs they've been using, like back in, I say back in as if it was a long time ago, Adventures of Elliot. Had something very similar going on, I love it there. And this is Finna. I really like her design personally. I really like her weapon, it looks really cool. Still not over the fact her name is Finna. The memes that will flow. And also we have Veritas of the Dark. Maybe I'm slacking, but I need this dude's entire glamour set in Final Fantasy 14, sword and all, yesterday. I don't care how little damage Dark Knight does. If I can get this outfit in that game, it's game over for me. This dude looks absolutely awesome. One of the Sworn Six of Palladium, he suddenly appears before Rain and the others, destroying the Earth Crystal and schemes to annihilate all crystals. He's the bad guy. Finna, a mysterious girl who appears from the Earth Crystal. She has lost all of her memories except for her name. Oh, I'm starting to remember Finna now. God, like a wave of memory just came crashing over me. Cheerful and pure-hearted, Finna excels in white magic and archery and can even communicate with espers. However, she cannot remember where she learned these skills or why she is able to speak with espers at all. I know some people say it's a little bit overused. I'm always a sucker for a good amnesia trope personally. A knight of the Kingdom of Granselt who possesses skills equal to Rain's and serves as his deputy commander in the airship squadron. Serious and disciplined, he is a model soldier trusted by both his subordinates and his superiors. Orphaned at a young age, Laswell was taken in and raised by Rain's family. Having grown up with Rain, he often finds himself dragged along by Rain's impulsive nature. He might be Joshua from Trails in the Sky. Oh god, that would make Rain Estelle. The main protagonist, a knight of the Kingdom of Granselt, who is exceptionally skilled and entrusted with commanding an airship squadron at a young age. Earnest and principled, he refuses to choose one side over another even in dire situations. Remaining determined to protect everyone, Rain holds complicated feelings towards his father, Reagan, who left his family behind and disappeared without a trace. Never mind, I'm gonna call Veritas of the Dark to be Reagan now. Not Ronald though. And then my favorite name ever, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Again, really cool character design here. And I love the use of color, and this like whip blade thing looks really cool. A mysterious woman bound by a deep enmity to Veritas of the Dark. She travels alongside Bahamut and primarily wields offensive magic. She'll ratio you on Twitter. Though she often teases Rain and presents a playful front, a strong, unwavering resolve lies hidden beneath her lighthearted demeanor. And then we just have a bunch of the pictures, and yeah, it just looks so good, man. Look at Bahamut here, dude. Oh my god. To me, it feels like a lot of what Square Enix has done lately is representing them turning the page. Particularly when it comes to Final Fantasy Resonance, they are now clearly willing to try out turn-based again when it comes to Final Fantasy, at least outside the mobile market. On top of that, maybe they're not gonna try to hunt the mobile market as hard as they tried in the past. And also, seems as if they're willing to take those stories and transform them into regular video games. I really hope they do something similar for Nier Reincarnation, because having Nier 3, which is one of my favorite series of games out there, having the third entry be no longer playable really hurts. But I think this also represents something a lot more fundamental when it comes to Square Enix. They don't fall into all the same traps a lot of other big AAA publishers do. They're willing to allow these smaller games to be put out the door that seem far more focused, that also don't actively hunt the AAA market. They have games like that. I mean, Final Fantasy VII Revelations is coming up. They have Kingdom Hearts 4 at some point in the future. They will eventually get around to Final Fantasy 17. But they don't only do games like that. That's an issue I find with a lot of other big developers and publishers. They only focus on those big budget entries, and they don't cater to the smaller budget markets. As I said before, Adventures of Elliot at this point is my game of the year. From what I've seen of Final Fantasy Resonance, it can produce a very strong argument to rival it. And I love that Square Enix is willing to put so much time and energy into these smaller scale budgets, allowing HD2D, allowing Team Asano to really cook and get these great games out the door. It allows them to try different things, but also not just punt 5 years and hundreds of millions of dollars or whatever that goes into the development of these big AAA games. So continuing that trend on top of taking games that either still going as gacha games or that are no longer available, and taking those stories, which tend to be really good, and turning them into regular RPGs, but giving them the time and energy they require and need, but also not being unrealistic about it. That's a very delicate balance to hit, and I think they've been doing it. This is something I really hope to see continue down the line. It's not like this has happened overnight. Square Enix has been putting out these smaller scale budgeted games for a while at this point. But as the years go on, it seems as if there's more of a focus on these things, and this is a direction I absolutely adore from Square Enix right now. The animations in combat look really dang clean to me. I like them. Nothing looks overly long, but it still has a good sense of spectacle and just a good sense of impact for a lot of these attacks. It looked really satisfying to me. It seems as if the game's gonna have a strong emphasis on buff abilities. We can see from the little buff icons here with numbers attached to them. Something I absolutely adore in a lot of turn-based games and just games overall is something like this right here, particularly in turn-based games. Even if your animations look really dang good, at a certain point, I'm gonna have seen them quite a few times and I'm just gonna want to speed through combat at a faster pace. If you give me a way to just up the pace of combat, I'm a big fan of that. But there is something else that I want to highlight here that can kind of go under the radar, and I really only noticed it because of the auto-dubbing, funnily enough, and how it kind of made the background music way quieter, so I was able to hear the sound effects going on when you're exploring the world better. I quite enjoy those. When you're giving me an open world to explore, I think it's important to get the player immersed in that open world, and one way to do that, one vector, is sound design. When I'm navigating the world, when I'm interacting with elements of that world, is it compelling from more than just the visual sense? And there's a snippet of this trailer where I think they do a good job highlighting various sound effects, and I think they sound rather good. Particularly a lot of them are walking sound effects when you're walking across different terrain. Again, it's kind of small by itself, but I think it's elements that are small like this by themselves that work together with everything else, from the sense of scale, the color, the lighting of these environments, that all work together to create an immersive experience. I am also 100% down for whatever dungeon this is. It looks pristine, but also worn down at the same time. And I love their use of the camera here to give a sense of scale to everything. Quite a few of the environments in this game, and this dungeon in particular, they just look so grandiose and epic. And I think Final Fantasy over the years have tried different ways to capture that sense of scale and epicness. And I feel oftentimes throughout the franchise's history, it's best attempt at doing that is through games like this, through clever use of the camera like this. I personally find it to be very impressive, and it makes me want to do this dungeon. I want to explore this dungeon. I want to learn more about it. And then we just have a regular boat section, which I'm kind of fine with. There does seem to be a chest in this top left corner over here. But I also really like this animation of Rangers taking out his sword at the start of combat here. The animations these bosses have, they look really dang good. I love the color. I love the spectacle. I love the particle effects they have going on here. We've been asking for a Final Fantasy game that feels like an old school Final Fantasy game for a long time, and we're finally getting one with Final Fantasy Resonance. Yes, Square Enix has a bunch of other franchises that are turn-based. I agree, and they're really dang cool. Go play Bravely Default if you haven't. However, there is still a unique feel to an old school Final Fantasy game that to me those other franchises just don't have because they have their own unique feel because they should, they're their own IP. Octopath Traveler, Bravely Default, they aren't going to feel like Final Fantasy. They are going to feel like Octopath Traveler and Bravely Default as they should. And I feel like one of the biggest issues with Final Fantasy for a while at this point has been its lack of gameplay identity. Now granted, I don't think this necessarily addresses that, but I think the identity of this game and what Final Fantasy Resonance is seemingly going to be feels far more in line with the identity that Final Fantasy used to have. Is it going to be for everybody? I doubt that, but am I extremely excited for this game and for its story, for its world, for its gameplay, for the visuals, to meet the other characters, to listen to the music, to explore the dungeons, and just to experience this Final Fantasy game? I'm 100% sold on this. I love the art, I love the way we're exploring the world, I love a lot of these cutscenes like we just shown here early in this trailer right here. I love that, and I love this. I'm so on board with what they are doing with this game. But I'm also so on board with what this represents. Brave Exvius to me had a lot of potential, but I could never get too deep into the game because I just didn't enjoy it being a video game. I didn't enjoy the gameplay. But the premise of Resonance is taking the story of Brave Exvius and turning it into a regular Final Fantasy RPG. This isn't the first time they've done this. They have done it recently with Octopath Traveler 0, taking the Octopath Traveler gacha game and then just making a regular RPG from that. And when it comes to Resonance here, they're taking the opportunity to do that for Brave Exvius and using this as an opportunity to bring back an older feel for Final Fantasy. I absolutely love that premise conceptually, and from what we've seen from these two trailers, I love how they've executed on it as well. Like, look at the visuals here for these boss fights, especially for this one. That boss looks awesome. He kind of reminds me of like Nameless King from Dark Souls 3 in a way. I love the giant crystal up there. I love the use of green. I love the camera here. It's funny in a way to me. A lot of Square Enix's best work lately hasn't been from its AAA studios, even when I enjoy those games, and I do. But games like Bravely Default, The Adventures of Elliot, and from everything that I've seen so far, Final Fantasy Resonance is going to fall under the same umbrella. These games, these experiences, these stories, they're my favorite of what Square Enix has been putting out lately. Well, this and Final Fantasy XIV, but besides that, I'm so on board with this. So that was Final Fantasy Resonance, and here's where you come in. Leave a comment down below with what you want to see out of the future of Final Fantasy. Do you like what you see out of Resonance, and what do you hope to see out of Final Fantasy 17? I would love to hear your thoughts, hear your opinions, and to hear your perspectives. While you're down there, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and helps support future content, and I greatly appreciate it. And there's another Square Enix gacha game that is going to end its service. I am talking, of course, about Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. Maybe we could get a Final Fantasy Resonance style game for Ever Crisis's story, and maybe we could just call it Final Fantasy VII or something. But if you want to find out what's going on, you should check out this video right here for more. Thank you all for tuning in. Stay safe, have a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye everybody, until we meet again.